I taught through COVID. The job was actually sucking the life out of me. My kids were little at that point. They were 5 and 3 at the time. It was a Monday morning, and I was driving my kids up to my mother-in-law's. It was like 6 a.m. It's like dark outside still, so she could take them to school. I said to them on the way up to my mother-in-law's, I said, I already can't wait for next weekend. And my older son was like, yeah, because you hate your job. That was the moment for me that I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I said to my husband, I said, I'll go work at Trader Joe's if I have to. You can feel scared, and also you can move. You can take steps forward. I had decided nothing was going to stop me, and it didn't.
Hi, Sandy. Welcome to the show. I want to jump right in and have you introduce yourself and definitely highlight what you were doing before you became a coach.
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm always thrilled to be here with you. I'm Sandy Patterson. I am a business and mindset coach. And before I became a coach, I was actually a kindergarten teacher. I taught kindergarten for a long time.
So, how do you go from kindergarten teacher to business and mindset coach? I think this is the gap that so many prospective new coaches run into. How do I take this skill that I'm really good at, or at least have been doing for a long time, and package it into something new? So, how did you
Yeah.
make that
Yeah.
transition?
So I was a teacher for 14 years. And like so many people, I think we go to school, we do the thing, we go to college, we get the degree, we get the credential, we spend all that money getting this education, and then we go out and we get the job. And then that's really supposed to be it, right? Like that was it for me. I was going to retire teaching kindergarten in room K1 at the same school. Like that was going to be it for me. And at one point on my journey of teaching, I just decided that like there has to be more out here. I decided I was like, it's now is your time to either put your head down and you're going to retire here, like that's the plan, or you try something new. Like there has to be something else out there. And I just had that little nudge, like so many of us do. Like there has to be more than this. There has to be like I don't want to do this for another 30 years. I don't want
How
to
long
feel
had
like
you
this.
been teaching for at that point?
At that point, 13, 14 years.
Okay.
I had been teaching for 13 years, and then I left after year 14. So, yeah, I just decided, I'm like, "You know what? Like, let's just make the leap and let's go." And at that time, I didn't even know I wasn't like, "I wanna be a coach." I was just like, "I just know that I need to get out of here, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make that happen." So, while I was still teaching and while my boys were little, I started another business, which was a, freelance curriculum writing business. So, it was fine, it was good, it was just, it was like my wheelhouse, whatever. It paid the bills and allowed me to stay out of teaching, during that first year. But I knew, and I think so many people that are in service professions will resonate with this, but that we have this need, this like really deep desire to help people on a deeper level. I think
Mhm.
that never goes away for people who have this like thing inside them. Like, I am so about relationships. I am so about people and so about connections.
Yeah.
And that's always just been who I am. And I think that's part of why I was such a great teacher. So I started that business and I knew I was like, this isn't going to be my forever thing. The curriculum writing wasn't going to be my forever thing.
Yeah.
And at that time, when I transitioned, I actually hired a life coach for myself. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I know that I need some sort of support to like make this really big life change that I wasn't really anticipating.
Yeah.
I need support. And going from working for someone else to working for yourself, I'm like, what do I even do with my time? And I really credit her. She changed the trajectory of my life in the best way because I know if it hadn't have been for her, I would have like spooked myself and like turned around and gone back. Not because I wanted to, but because that was the easy thing. That was the safe thing. That was the familiar thing.
Yeah. Well, it was
So I
also the
credit
thing
her.
that you went to school for, which I think is a lot of people's hang up. But I
Right.
already learned how to do this and I'm already invested and I've already spent so many years of my life committed to this thing. Like, how could I possibly go learn something new?
Right. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of like guilt and like fear around that. Like nobody wants to be a beginner. Nobody wants
No.
to do something new. Nobody wants to look like they don't know what they're talking about at first. But really that's part of the process with anything in life. Like
Hmm.
anything, you're going to
Yeah.
go learn to surf, like you got to just go out and do it. You're going to learn and you're just going to practice and do it. So enter IGC and coach training. I went through that whole entire coach training program. I was student trainer. I went through Leaders Rising. I basically did every single program that you have out there
You
to
did.
learn more. And yeah, in January of 2023, I officially launched my coaching business and I really haven't looked back since. And now I'm working my coaching business full time now. It's all that I do. And I really just, I like pinch myself every day. I'm like, wait, this is what I get to do. This is how I get to support people in a really deep way. And I think those things, like I mentioned before, about relationships and connections and just being able to listen and really care for people. That's part of why, I mean, coaching just felt like the natural next thing for me.
Yeah. So was it you hiring a coach that introduced you to the concept of coaching? Like, how did you even find her?
Yeah, I found her through a podcast. She was a guest on somebody else's podcast. And so, we always talk about partnerships and
Yeah.
podcasting and all of that
Yeah.
stuff, but I don't even remember what podcast it was, but I just remember what she was saying. Her message was just so like it felt like she was speaking directly to me. And I was like, I don't care what this lady has. Like, here's my credit card. I want it.
Right, but it's funny that you're because I did come from a similar background as you, and it wasn't until I had hired my own coach to kind of help me navigate my career next
Yeah.
steps that I was like, I'm already kind of doing this in my teaching job,
Yeah.
and I think I would be really good at this. The learning curve actually came from the business stuff like you're talking about, and like, but I think the beautiful thing and a lot. I'm going to be really specific and just be speaking to teachers when I say this. Like, we are taught and then teach instruction. If you can follow instruction, you can be really successful at business.
And I have always said that teachers make the best coaches because if you can teach, you can literally do anything.
Right.
And I think part of business too is juggling a lot of things kind of all at one time, not in a stressful way, but like there's a lot of things going, especially if you're self employed, right?
Right.
And as teachers, that's literally what we do all day is we're juggling all of these different things, managing all of these different people. And not that you're doing that in coaching. I remember when I stepped into business, I was like, oh, not that it was easy, but I was like, I can manage 25 5-year olds. Like I can do this easily. Like
Seriously.
I have this money. Like I'm
Yeah.
good. And I think it's that multitasking part on the business side of it that makes teachers really good at that too.
Absolutely. And if you're running a coaching business, you're able to do that from home without 25 5-year olds yelling at you, which again,
Yeah.
I mean, I love the kids. That's not the reason I personally left teaching. But I will say that although I never am going to be like, oh, business is so easy because it still requires a lot of effort. But I would rather feel 5 steps behind and have to learn something new and practice it over and over than drive, 45 minutes to a job that was not fulfilling to where I was unappreciated, underpaid, and taken advantage of on a regular basis,
Yeah.
for being a nice person, for being a good listener, for being someone who
Yeah.
could always pick up everyone else's slack, then
Yeah.
have to watch 12 million YouTube videos or something random to try to learn this new thing in business. Like, I didn't know 15 years ago what a KPI was, what the difference between profit and revenue, like blah, 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 all that stuff. But I had a brain, and I think most teachers have a brain where without a doubt, you are
Yeah.
capable of learning literally anything. Just like a kindergartner learning to read and write, or when I was teaching fifth grade, like learning history or even Spanish, like we know that this is possible.
Yes. And I mean, I think what makes it even more like on the coaching side of things and not necessarily the business side, but just your ability to listen, to get feedback, to move, as we call it in coaching, like dance in the situation, right?
Mhm.
Like dance
Meet our
with the
clients where they're at. Like, were we not doing that in the classroom?
that's all we did all day long.
Yeah. I can't think of like, obviously, I'm an advocate for more coaches in the world. If people are watching this or listening to this and they're like, but everybody's a coach. No, they're not. People in my real life still don't even know what a coach is. They're like, you do what? Huh? I'm confused. Like, the algorithm just makes you feel inundated with coaching stuff, but there is a real need for credentialed coaches, for people who are actually professional at this and do a really good job. And my point is, this is the fastest way for women to get into entrepreneurship, hands down. But I always tell the story of like one of my good friends. I think I just brought this up in another meeting we were in. opened a boutique, and the startup costs were like a couple $100,000. I know
Yeah.
she's really passionate about fashion and like, connecting with what she's the cutest thing ever. But like that is a way different thing and actually much harder to get into than something like a coaching business where your first year startup costs are under 20,000, maybe even under 10.
Oh my gosh, yes, like, you need a laptop
Yeah,
and internet. Like,
exactly. You
you're
need a
good.
laptop and an offer, basically, like your first coaching offer. So let's talk about that actually real quick. Sandy, what was your first coaching offer? Like, what's the first package that you sold as a coach?
Yeah, the first package that I sold as a coach, I think it was definitely a short-term package, so it was like 6 or 8 sessions of just one-to-one coaching. Like, keep it simple, and really, when I started, I did not really know what my like, who I wanted to work with or what my, like, quote, unquote, "niche" was gonna be.
Yeah, got it. So it was more or less like an 8 session one-on-one coaching package. And what kind of transformation were you selling? Were you doing business
Exactly.
coaching then? Or
No, no,
okay.
no, I wasn't doing business coaching then. That just kind of came as I evolved as a coach, as my clients evolved, as like the people that I was speaking to evolved. When I first started, my whole thing was what happened just naturally is I was in the teaching like world. And I
Mhm.
still am. I still love working with teachers. But what was happening is a lot of teachers were reaching out to me to say, "Hey Sandy, like I see what you're doing. I see like this looks really cool. Like can you help me essentially do the same thing?"
Yeah.
Like, "Sure, perfect." And that's really what we were working on, but what I found is that that transformation is a lot it was gonna take a lot longer than just 8 sessions,
Yeah.
right? This is a transformation that's gonna happen over quite a bigger amount of time. But again, you live, you learn, and you adjust as you go. So from there, my coaching packages started to increase because clients were just having to re-sign like after the 8 sessions, and we were
Yeah.
having to constantly have that conversation. So that's kind of really where it started. And then I from there I realized that I didn't really a lot of the people that were coming to me weren't like super sure that they wanted to like make this transition yet.
Like
It was
transition
more
out of teaching into
out of teaching.
something
Yeah,
else.
and what was happening is I was having to kind of like almost like pump them up and like pull them along, which isn't
Mm,
what like coaching is about, right? Like
right.
we're not forcing anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. But I just realized I want to work with people that have already decided, that are already like taking the steps to move in that direction. And so then my niche kind of changed a little bit there.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot with coaches, especially ones that go through training and they start taking pro bono clients or their first clients. And it kind of helps them, like you said, tease out where they can add the most value. And
Yep.
I think that's part of kind of the growth process. But the main thing that anyone who's considering coaching that's coming from an education background, I think, can rest assured in knowing and have some type of built in confidence in knowing is that the skill set that you've had in this career is highly transferable to successful coaching. And like case in point, IGC, like I'm a traditionally trained teacher in my master's in education, taught elementary school, special ed, all of it. And I'm still teaching to this day. Like I'm training, but I'm also coaching. And often that happens in the same hour block. So I just can't think of a business that makes more sense for a teacher.
I agree with you, Liv, and I think there are so many times and once you are a certified coach, there are other doors that open up because of that.
Sandy, I want to talk quickly about like the more story-based side of things. Like teaching, becoming a coach, it makes perfect sense logically. But that's not why how people are making decisions, and actually that's not how most women are making decisions. Most women are making decisions out of emotions. So like
Mhm.
what got you? What actually happened where you were kind of like I'm done. I'm doing something else. My purpose is bigger than my fear. Like what's that story?
Yeah, okay, I think I've told you this before, so you're gonna hear it again, and if anybody listening has heard this before, you're gonna hear it
They
again.
need to
So
hear it again if they're still listening
I
and not
know,
taking
I
action.
know, I know. I taught through COVID, and COVID, I feel like, was a time in education where there was an opportunity to really change things in the education system for the better. Like, that was our chance to, like, flip. stuff upside down and like do things better for both students, for families, for kids, like for teachers,
Yeah.
for the system as a whole. That didn't happen, right? Okay. So fast forward through that. I think I just realized at that point, and my kids were little at that point. They were 5 and 3 at the time. And I didn't like who I was at the end of the day. Like the job was actually sucking the life out of me. And at one point, I was driving, it was a Monday morning, and I was driving my kids up to my mother in law's. It was like 6 a.m. It's like dark outside still. So she could take them to school. So she could, take care of them in the morning. She could get them dressed, like do all of those things. And I was just like, ugh, like that was nagging at me. And that had been nagging at me for a while at that point. But they were sitting in the back, and I said to them on the way up to my mother in law's, I said, "Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I already can't wait for next weekend." And my older son was like, "Yeah, because you hate your job." And I was like, "Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong." But that was the moment for me that I was like, "I'm not doing this anymore." Like, I'm done giving so much to the system, to other people's kids,
Mhm.
when this is my priority. Like, this is who I wanna be here for. This is who I wanna be my best self for, and I wanna be present with. Like, I wanna be the one to drop them off at school. So, it's not that I wasn't present for them, but when I was there, my brain was somewhere else. Like, I felt like my battery was, like, flashing, like, 10%. You better you better do
Yeah.
something about it. So that was the moment that I just decided, and that was the moment that I also didn't know what like, I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I said to my husband, I said, "I'll go work at Trader Joe's if I have to. Like,
Yeah.
I'll go work at Starbucks if I have to, but I'm not doing this anymore. I can't. I can't, and I
Yeah.
won't." And so, I mean, everybody that I've talked to over the years has to have a moment,
Yeah.
and you can't, like, I can't teach that to anybody. You just have to have that moment where the switch flips, and you just decide.
Yeah.
You just decide, and then you start moving, even if it's scary. Because one thing that I tell my clients all the time is that you can feel fear, you can feel scared, and also you can move.
Yeah.
You can take steps forward. Like the two, it's not either or, it's and. You get to move and be scared. So that whole year, I mean, was the whole year was me moving, being scared.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but I had decided nothing was going to stop me, and it didn't. And I just went.
I feel like there's probably a lot of women listening to this who have had that moment where it's like, I'm not doing this anymore, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And so I really appreciate your story here because there was a little bit of trial and error on the way to becoming who you are today and the business you've built today. And I'm hoping that someone listens to it and is like, "Oh my god, that's the thing. Like, I knew I didn't wanna do this anymore, but now I know the thing that I do wanna do," and hopefully being able to fast track them into the such a natural next step. And
Yeah.
so, what do your days look like now?
Yeah. What do my days look like? So
I know
I
you
take
don't
my
work on
kids to
Fridays.
school. I don't work. Yeah, I've kind of been playing with my schedule lately, but yeah, I take my kids to school. I go to the gym in the morning. My days are typically done, like my calls and everything is typically done by noon. After that, I still work. I still do stuff on the back end of my business, but I hold all my calls in the morning. It's kind of cool that the way, like you said, the different modalities that I'm able to support my clients. So I'll even support clients into the evening, but on Voxer in a way that's really flexible for me and flexible for my clients who are moms and who are running around at the soccer fields or whatever.
Yeah,
They can get coaching through Voxer in that way. I end the days feeling tired, but not exhausted or drained.
that's
And
so
I
good.
end the day, yeah, with feeling like I've had purpose,
Yeah,
feeling like I've helped, and the women that are in my spaces, and even all of the women that I get to interact with and work with inside IGC, it's just truly, truly special. It's like these are all people that I would want to go to happy hour with.
yeah.
And I get to support them in ways to allow them to have a life that looks however they want it to look. And for me, it's not like fancy. It's like I just want to pick my kids up from
Yeah,
school.
but I
Like,
think that's, like, the ultimate thing, like, not just being, like, friends or go to happy hour with your clients, of course, but it's also, like, this is your life, and now it doesn't feel like you have to compartmentalize it so much. I feel like coaching and having a coaching business where you're really enjoying it, it doesn't feel like, I hate to sound so cliche, but it doesn't like feel like work.
I feel like my life, and this is really what I help my clients do too, is create businesses that revolve around what is important to them
Yeah.
and what they envision their perfect day looking like. Like this
Yeah.
literally is my perfect day.
Yeah.
Like I went to the gym, I dropped my kids off, I had calls, I
There's going
supported
to be
clients. Like
people, Sandy, listening to this being like, sure, like, so ideal because you are in the gut. Like, you're not in the gutter. I don't mean it like that, but like, your reality is not in a place where like you can see that other another way of living is possible. And I was absolutely there before I decided kind of like whatever, I'm just doing this. Like, I was so miserable and I would be like, well, that might work for some people because this or that or the other thing. And I was so negative, and if I heard you say this 15 years ago or whatever, I would have been like, "Okay, sure, she's just saying that." And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
I promise, I make this promise to everyone listening, like, she's not just saying that. It's not to say that some days don't suck,
no.
but it's like
Yeah,
the reality and the daily living of being in a job that no longer fits you. It's like being in a relationship that you've outgrown.
yes.
It impacts every area of your life.
Yes, and I will say this too, I'm not special. Like, I'm
Yes, you
special, but,
are.
like, I'm not I'm not I'm not unique in the way that, like, "Oh, she only has that because she has this, this, and this." Like, this is literally available to anyone that is willing to, again, feel scared and still move, and who has cultivated enough self-trust to know, "I will always figure it out." And that's just who I am as a person.
I think if anything, the past couple years, especially like since COVID, and I don't want to go down this whole like rabbit hole of things that have happened, but it's like, what are you waiting for?
Oh my gosh,
What are we waiting for? You know?
that's the one thing when people ask me, "Do you have any regrets?" Like, "Do you regret leaving your job? Do you regret, do you miss the benefits?" Like, the retire like, all those
Well,
things that
you
we think in
like
our head
made
are, like, so
sleepless night
important.
at the way beginning, but really, you know?
Oh, I'm like, the only thing I regret is not doing this sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I had started this a decade ago
Yeah.
because I would be farther along than I am now, but I'm thrilled with where I am now. I mean, 3 years into my business, and I can just see it going, like, up from here
Yeah.
and continuing to grow.
So before we wrap, what piece of advice would you give a teacher who maybe isn't even at complete burnout yet, who's like, I know I'm meant for something more, but like, what is it?
My advice would be to start now. Like, start now. And if you are like, I don't know where to start, because that's what I get, like, I hear that often, like, I don't know where to start, then reach out to the people who have started and pick their brains. Get into spaces of people who are doing the thing or
Yes,
have
who
done
have
the
what you
thing,
want. Yes.
and start asking questions. Start to figure it out. Think about anything else, any other situation in your life where you were like, I don't know what to do here, and you figured it out.
Yeah.
Like, you start to figure it out. Just start,
Yes.
you
Get
start
yourself in
doing
the
this.
room. Get
Mhm.
yourself in the room with people who have what you want, not people who are going to talk you out of the thing that you want.
Yeah, and I know it can be very intimidating too. Like, I will
Yeah.
say, like, I would be intimidated to, like, reach out and be like, "Oh," like, but it's almost a matter of, like, what do you want more? What, like,
Yeah.
and letting that, like, telling your ego, like, "No, this isn't gonna stop us. Like, we're moving, we're going, we're gonna figure this out, and come on,
Yeah.
let's go.
The time is really now.
Make the call, like, do the thing, watch the YouTube video, download the whatever, make it happen."
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Sandy, for sharing your story and for just kind of highlighting, honestly, a lot of things that I kind of like forgot about from like the skill set of a teacher. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, we haven't put that into words in a while. And so I appreciate you bringing us back to that. And
Mhm.
also, Sandy is one of our mentors in IGC. So she obviously has her own business completely separate and is highly successful, but she also has come back, has agreed to come back and support some of our students on the business and sales and marketing side of things. So she's a wonderful asset to all of our students at IGC. We teach just as much coaching content as we do business development, which is what makes us different than any other training program. And we hire our successful graduates to come back and show you exactly how to do things. So if
Yes.
any of this sounds appealing to you, or if you want to meet with Sandy and have a consultation with her and pick her business brain, we will leave all of the links to do that in the show notes. If you're curious about becoming a coach, be sure to download the Get Paid to Coach workshop. And like I had asked Sandy, like, what was your first offer? When you download that workshop, you're also going to get a nice little workbook, because teachers, I'm still making workbooks. Okay, I'm still
Yeah.
making them for you. That's going to walk you through exactly how to design a first coaching offer so that you can just kind of start to see the tangible reality that's possible to you. So you have Sandy, you have these resources. This is the exact next step you could do. Literally, this is the exact next step you could do.
Absolutely. It's in the show notes. And I tell all my clients, I tell everybody, I'm like, I'm an open book. I'm happy to have a conversation about
100%. No,
any.
literally DM Sandy, tell her all of your wildest dreams and your greatest fears, and you will probably walk away. You still have that kindergarten teacher energy. Like, you're so much nicer.
I
I was a
know.
fifth grade teacher and I was not as nice as like a kindergarten teacher. She is your person. If you just kind of want to let it out and make something of it, she is so patient, so loving, so inspirational. You're not going to walk away from any conversation with her feeling anything other than likely 100 times better than you felt walking into it. That's the
No,
power
and
you have.
thank you, Liv. That's a huge compliment. And I received that. And thank you. And that's really what I want for anyone in my space, anytime, whether it's a consultation call, a coaching call, whatever it is, the guy I bump into at the grocery store. Like,
Aw,
that's what we're
lucky
all
him.
about over here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. You're the
Thank
best.
you. Bye, Liv.